Hello, so welcome to the YouTube channel. So in this video we will discuss on the topic that is scientific writing. Scientific writing. So scientific writing is a technical form of writing that is designed in particularly to communicate the scientists to exchange their information, which is output of a research work. So it depends on the specific categories, or you can say maybe a research article for a journal, or maybe a scientific poster in case of presentation in seminars and conferences and all, and it may be a research proposal of a research grant work. So for this writing up of a concern, there is one structure is there, so that is so called as IMRAD. So I stands for introduction, M stands for materials and methods, R stands for results, A stands for analysis, and D stands for discussion. So it is a basic, you can say, a skeleton of this scientific writing work. And here two things have been left here, and those are abstract and conclusion. So generally for writing up of an article and this even a poster concerned, we need abstract and as well as conclusion. So let us go ahead with the first point, that is abstract. So what is this abstract? So we can say abstract, it's a brief summary of whole research work. So that may be a research article, so maybe a thesis or a dissertation, maybe a review, or maybe a conference proceeding, or in-depth analysis of that particular subject. So abstract, it helps to the reader quickly ascertain the paper's purpose. Say for example, in case of article concerned, if you go through with the abstract only, you'll come to know what that article contains. So this it will help to a reader. So if you want in particular, or if that paper is related to your matter or whatever the thing you are going to find, then if you go through with the abstract, you will find no need to go through with the full article. If you read the abstract, that is enough. So if it seems to be relevant, you can go through with the full article like this. So second point is content of abstract. So abstract, what it should contain? So it should contain the background of that research work, and it should contain the results of that research work, and it should contain the conclusion part of that research work. Usually the abstract will be written in a limited number of words, maybe it depends on what type of or it belongs to what category. Generally in case of article publication concerned, 150 to 200 words are limited to write the abstract. So within this number of words, one should complete the writing work up of abstract. So now we'll go ahead with the introduction. So in the introduction part, the writer should write from general subject area to the particular topic inquiry, and he is supposed to write the scope and in the context and the significance of research that is being conducted. Then the summarizing the current understandings of that particular research work and background information of the topic he has to write in the introduction part, and he has to state the for what purpose that particular research is being carried out, stating the problem supported by the hypothesis. Then a set of questions should be there, and explaining the briefly methodological approach used to examine the research problem. So in shortly he has to write these points, or he has to include these points in the introduction part, and he has to highlight the potential outcome of a study and outlining the remaining structure of an organization of a paper, right? So in short, we can say this introduction should contain the purpose of the study. So that is, a need for the study should be there in abstract, and adopted hypothesis of that research work must be there in the introduction part. And sometimes, and few researchers, what they believe is even one should write the methods followed also in the introduction part, and aims and objectives must be there in the introduction part. But in general, most of the people what they expect is introduction must contain the need for the study, that is purpose of the research work, and adopted hypothesis of that research work, and aims and objectives of the research work should be there in the introduction part. So introduction, it is to concentrate the reader from general topic to that particular research work of the that research work of the study which is being conducted. So the next third point is materials and methods. So before to write the materials and the methods, in the beginning paragraph the author should mention some few points, that is, if it is a animal experimental study, then number of animals and details of that animals, and in case of clinical study concerned, the number of patients and all he has to mention, and the beginning and termination date of the study he has to particularly mention, number of experimental animals, patients or subjects enrolled in the study, so that has to be clearly mentioned before to in the beginning paragraph of materials and methods. Then whether he has taken approval from the ethical committee, that also he has to mention. In case of a clinical study, one researchers should get a ethical committee permission of IAC, that is Institutional Ethical Committee, IEC, and in case of animal studies they should get a permission from IAEC, that is Institutional Animal Ethical Committee. And apart from that, study design, whether it is a prospective or retrospective or other thing, that also mentioned in the beginning paragraph of materials and methods. The next main thing, when the study, where and how that study is being conducted, that is to be mentioned in the materials and methods, and what are the materials are being used in the study, or who were included in the study groups, whether the patients or animals, and inclusive criteria, exclusive criteria. So all those things are to be mentioned in the material and method section. The next point is results and analysis. So here, what are the answers found in the to the research questions in that particular research work, that is to be mentioned here, written here, and what are the findings are obtained in the study, and was the tested hypothesis is found true or not, that is to be written by using statistical tests and all. So depending on the research work, what type of statistical this test is to be followed, by following that one has to mention the whether the hypothesis is found significantly true, or whether it has found insignificant, that is to be mentioned in the results and analysis part. The next part is discussion. So here researchers, he should write or he should imply the answer, or what kind of an answer is going to imply and why does it matter. So he has to answer the questions which he raised before to start the study, and how that particular answer is going to fit for the particular question. And in case if similar research works are being conducted in somewhere else, then what are the other researchers they have found answer to those particular questions, that also be discussed in the discussion part. And what are the perspectives for the future research, that is to be written in the discussion point. So what kind of a scope is given by, or scope is given by that particular research work to the other research works in future, that is to be mentioned in the discussion part. Then finally conclusion. So it is a last part of scientific writing, and it contains very minimum words and very few sentences. So here one should restate, or that author has to restate the whole topic in few words or sentences, and in few sentences only he has to explain the methods, results and analysis, and very briefly the discussion part and the scope given by that research work to the research works in future, that is to be mentioned in the conclusion part. And here whatever the words and sentences are being written, that must focus on the research work. So as conclusion part is limited to very few words and sentences, so one should write carefully this part. Then finally conclusion to this IMRAD concept. So this IMRAD, which is a structure for scientific writing concerned, it has proved its valid and proper way to convey the research work to the others. It facilitates literature review, allowing the reader to navigate the article more quickly, to locate the material in relevant to their purpose. It means where we are systematically writing introduction, material, method and results and analysis, particularly in separate sections, as the this writing of work will be there. Hence it facilitates, or it makes easier to the reader. A neat order of IMRAD, that is this structure, rarely corresponds to the actual sequence of events or ideas of the research presented. So it allows the reader to access a well-ordered, a noise-free presentation of the relevant and significant information, number one. Then it allows the most relevant information to be presented clearly and logically to the relationship, and summarizing the ideal sequence without unnecessary details. Thank you for watching the video, and kindly subscribe the YouTube channel.